Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum guys. I am smoked today. It's been a long day of negotiations, preparing for 5 podcasts in one day, family time. So Fridays for Jum'ah, and the stuff connected to Jum'ah. So I'm very smoked. But I felt compelled to share something with you today. So I came across a really interesting stat. So there's a guy called Little Hart, and he was a military specialist. He wrote a book called Strategy, where he studied 280 military campaigns and studied the various strategies that were used on the side of the winning, on the winning side. And he concluded that only 6 out of the 280 military campaigns were won where the enemy's main army was attacked head on. So only 2% of the victories of some of the biggest military campaigns over the last few thousand years up until now were won through a head-on attack. All the other 98 won on everything else: psychological warfare, surprise attacks, and so on and so forth. The moral of the story here is that usually when there's an obstacle in the way, when there's something that you're trying to achieve, the best way is not directly head-on. You've got to find creative solutions to go left and right. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because recently I've been involved in a lot of negotiations. And one thing that I'll often find is that the overwhelming majority of the time, whatever I bring to the table as my initial offer, and the other side brings as the initial offer, it's never going to be that. It's never ever, it's not going to be that, like that head on, this what I want, this what you want, and just using sheer force to try to convince each other that my one is better and yours is better. It doesn't work. And sometimes, and this is why I hate negotiating with people that are very juvenile and inexperienced when it comes to business, and they think that it has to be a zero-sum game, is that when I sense that lack of fluidity in their ability to come up with creative solutions to find an outcome that's beneficial for both of us, I just prefer to not mess with those type of people. When it's lovely is when you're going back and forth, you're back and forth, and you're trying to see things from each other's perspective. You're trying to create a structure for a deal that makes sense for everyone. And you have to kind of go around left, right, center, up, down. But the outcome, at least in the negotiations that I'm involved in, is always one where everyone wins. Because you don't want to be in a negotiation where you feel like you got undercut. You feel like that person got the better deal because you feel resentful. But there's always a way to frame it where it can be two-way. I'll give you an example. There's a particular deal that we're working on where we wanted a particular percentage. The other side obviously don't want to give us that percentage. So we're bringing the arguments and all the reasons for why we believe our request and our offer is legit. They're turning around saying, we absolutely see where you're coming from, and that makes complete sense. But numbers-wise, it wouldn't make sense if we would be able to grow our business. Okay, cool. Why wouldn't you be able to grow your business? Where's the hindrance? Are you looking at things wrong? Are you looking for this? So you go back, you do the head-on thing. This is my offer, that's your offer. Then it's like, all right, cool. How can we create a creative outcome? And the creative outcome could be, number one, all right, cool. Lock you in for 18-month contract. We'll drop our percentage, but we lock you in for 18-month contract so that, we mitigate the fact that we're taking a lesser cut with more security long term. Or the second thing could be, all right, cool. Let's take a tiered approach. If we reach this target, we get this percentage. But if we reach that target, we get the percentage that we want. So on and so forth. You see, and then they're like, all right, cool. You know what? If you're reaching that target and you're getting that percentage that you want, for example, 25%, then that means we've made more money anyway. So cool, we can make it happen. The point that I'm trying to get at here is that there's always a way. There's always a way, but you've got to be creative. You've got to be strategic. You've got to think. And you've always got to look out for the other person as well as yourself. And this is very important when it comes to negotiation. You always have to look out for the other person as much as yourself. Because I don't want to take no one's haqq when I don't deserve it. I don't want no one to deprive me of my haqq or my team of our haqq when we deserve it. So you've got to get to a point where you're like, listen, it makes sense. There's so much more I've got to share on the concept of negotiation, but I think this should do for now. My throat is recovering from a couple of days of madness. I got to love you and leave you guys. May Allah bless you in this life and the next. Assalamu alaikum. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.